WGN Sports.
We are coming to you from the beautiful city, Chicago, Illinois, where tonight, WGN Sports presents White Sox baseball. Here's Paul Canerico, Alex Rios, Andrew Jones and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Manny Acta's Cleveland Indians. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrelson as we get set to bring you Game 2 of this three-game set. In the opener of the series last night, Johnny Danks just breezed through the first 5, no problems whatsoever. Sox led it 1-0. Then he got to the 6th, couldn't get anybody out. Cleveland winds up winning that ball game 10-1. So the Indians have won 20 games this year. 7 of them come against us. They are 7-3 against our Sox. And last night was a third of the season going for us. We've got to get on the roll. We've got to start winning some ball games, and hopefully tonight, starting with Jake Peavy.
Well, the starting pitchers have had an ERA up over 5, and Jake Peavy has an ERA of 6.23. He's better than that. His record is 4-4, and last time out against Tampa Bay, he won that ball game despite not pitching his best. So hopefully tonight he'll have that slider. He'll keep the ball down in the zone, and he'll be able to do something against this Cleveland team that he hadn't been able to do, and that is pitch a real strong game against them. If he does that, then it'll make it tougher on Mitch Talbot, who goes to the mound for the Indians. He's 6-4 this year. However, he's 2-0 against us. He's saved his best baseball for the White Sox. Hopefully tonight they can get to him like the Yankees did last time out. The Yankees beat him. Hopefully tonight we'll do the same.
All right, sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Mega Millions. Tuesday's Mega Millions jackpot is worth $26 million. Tonight's game is available in Spanish on your SAP audio setting provided by WRTO La Tremenda, Chicago's Spanish language sports leader. Ozzie Guillen Jr. and Omar Ramos handle the broadcast on WRTO, and we're happy to be providing their feed on our SAP channel. We'll take a look at how the Indians are going to line up tonight, and it's going to be Crow in center field leading it off, and Chu, Kearns, Branyan. Peralta is at third with Hafner the DH, Valbuena, Marson, and Donald at shortstop hitting 9. The defense behind Jake Peavy, left to right in the outfield, Pierre Rios and Quentin in the infield, Nix, Ramirez, Beckham, and Paul Canerco at first. Ramon Castro behind the plate, and on the hill, Jake Peavy looking for his first win of the year. This is 12th start. Trying to improve on that 6.23 ERA. The umpires for the games tonight. Lance Barksdale behind the plate. Ed Rapuano at first. Tom Hallion is at second. And Ron Culpa is at third. So as Jake gets ready to go and they throw the ball around the infield, we're ready for baseball, and we're ready to break the hex that the Indians seem to have on us this year. So I'll turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Hawk Harrelson.
All right, Stone Pony, thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here with WGN Sports. So happy you could join us for game 2 of this 3-game set. Also, this is the 5th game of this 9-game homestand. 3 with Texas, 3 with these guys, and finish it off Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with the Tigers. As that first pitch strike to Trevor Crowe, switch hitting center fielder. He comes in hitting at 247, a homer. He's driven in 11. And that's just off the plate.
Crowe had the game off last night until he came on to pinch hit late. Austin Kearns played center field in his place.
And there's the strike. Indians coming in hitting at 244 as a club with a 4.84 team ERA.
Crowe, former #1 draft choice, 14th pick overall in 2005.
And he just chops that one away, so the count hangs at 1-2. And here at beautiful US Cellular Field, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straightaway center.
Jake has thrown a little bit better at home than he has on the road. And Don Cooper, the pitching coach, suggested a few off-speed pitches tonight.
There's one that's lined into the LG Skyline Club seats. Indians come in at 12-19 on the road. They're 7-12 at home for a total of 20-33, but as we mentioned, 7-3 against our Sox. And that's a can of corn into center field. One down. So that'll bring up Chu. Shin-Soo Choo, the right fielder, hitting at 276, 8 homers. He's driven in 28.
It's fairly warm here at the ballpark, very humid and overcast. There is some rain in the surrounding areas, but that means it's going to be very lively tonight.
Little breaking ball strike right there, a little slider. Chu 1 for 5 last night, and against Jake in his career 2 for 7 with a homer. Goes through that one in the count 0-2.
Already Jake has a little more life on the fastball than he did at Tampa Bay. That'll serve him well tonight.
Good pitch, just ate him up. That fastball inside at 95.
You see where AJ wants it. He wants it low and away, and Jake gets it up and in. So by missing his spot, he wound up making a terrific pitch. Couldn't do anything with it.
AJ was just trying to deke him out by sitting down low and away. So here's Kearns hitting at 292, 4 homers. He's driven in 24. Outfield playing him straight away. Kearns takes that fastball at 93 for a strike. 3 for 5 last night with a homer. That into right center field. And the count 0-2.
During the course of Jake's career, he's been one of the toughest of all pitchers for right-handers to hit. He's down in the 2 teens against right-hand hitters lifetime.
That fastball at 94, so the count 1-2. And he lays off that breaking pitch down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out here in the top of the first if you're just tuning in. Second of this 3-game set.
Here's a look at Don Cooper. And Freddie Garcia, the winningest pitcher on this staff.
The 2-2. And he pops him up right side. Beckham. He's there. Makes the catch. Nice inning for Jake Peavy. 1-2-3 after half inning of play at sea. Indians nothing and the good guys coming to bat.
Andrew Jones and Quentin Castro, Beckham, and Nix. And the defense behind Mitch Talbot, Kearns, Crow, and Chu left to right with Peralta, Donald, Valbuena, and Branyan. Lou Marson behind the plate, and Mitch Talbot on the hill. Talbot doesn't strike out a whole lot of people, doesn't walk a whole lot of people, but he is around the plate most of the time.
And before we show you our picks to click you at home, select yours. First pitch strike to Juan Pierre comes in hitting at 249. No homers. He's driven in 6. 1 for 3 last evening and 1 for 6 lifetime off Talbot. Outfield very short, swung around to the left. There he fakes the bunt and takes the ball. Peralta at the cut of the grass at third. And Branyan just about even with the bag and well off the line at first. And that ball into left. Kearns in foul ground makes the catch. 1 out.
Kearns was positioned perfectly because he was over toward the line, just had to drift into foul territory and make the play.
So here is Alexei hitting at 251, 5 homers. He's driven in 22. He accounted for our only run last night with his 5th homer.
Well, he's moved up last night in the 8th spot, and tonight Ozzie has decided to put him up at the top between Pierre and Rios.
Takes that pitch outside from the 26-year-old right-hander. Talbot, 6'2", 200 pounds, out of Cedar City, Utah. And the count 2-0.
Ron Shapiro, the GM, made a pretty good trade here. Kelly Shopping, a pretty decent catcher, went to Tampa Bay. And Talbot, who was in their minor leagues and kind of stuck there because of their young pitching, came to Cleveland.
There's a strike and the count 2-1.
He liked Talbot's minor league numbers and realized that there was just no place to go as a starter with that very young Tampa Bay rotation. So we got him, and against us, he's been a world beater.
2-1 pitch. Shot right back through the middle.
Ball right down the middle, and Alexei takes it right back up the middle.
So pretty good speed on at first, and here is Alex Rios hitting at 312, 12 homers. He's driven in 28.
Got a pretty good catch it and throw it guy behind the plate in Lou Marson. He's not the greatest of hitters, but is a pretty good catcher.
Alexei with a pretty good lead as there's strike one. Alexei fakes, does not go. 1-1 to count to Rios.
Again, Joey Cora looking on.
He just missed that one. High, that is just missed him right there. Right in front of Nellie Fox. And the Comcast Sportsnet sign hauls it in for out number 2. So with 2 down, let's check out our Dodge picks to click. Jim Angio, our director and the crew, they went with Jason Nix. Stone Pony's going to go with Ramon Castro, and JJ and Tim Sherrill. And I, the good folks down at Lost Dunes Club in Bridgman, Michigan, we're going to go with Alexei, who singled in his own first base. And for more information on our entire vehicle lineup, log on to Dodge.com or stop by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Dodge dealer. So here is Paulie at 270, 16 homers, 39 driven in. And that's out of play right side. Paulie 2 for 3 lifetime off Talbot with a homer.
We haven't seen Talbot's curveball yet, and it's a pretty decent pitch. He doesn't use it all the time. He'll cut the fastball. Has both a 4-seam and a 2-seam fastball that occasionally tries to run in on the right-handers. But 2 games over at 6-4 for a team that's 20-33 is a pretty good job of it in the early going for Talbot.
I mentioned last time he pitched against it. Remind me of a guy that we had. Also pitched with Minnesota, Kevin Tappan. Throws a lot of strikes. Pitches to contact. And that is high into right field. Chu. He's there, but the single by Alexei Ramirez goes for naught. And after 1, no score. First pitch to Russell Branyan into center field. So one pitch, one out here in the top of the second. Branyan came in hitting at .245 with 7 homers and 14 knocked in.
The way Jake is going right at the hitters tonight, that'll keep the pitch count down and get him deep into the game. The one thing that Ozzie certainly wants from Jake is a long outing that helps protect that bullpen. Lately, the starters have not been going deep into the games.
Here's Johnny Peralta. Had a big night last evening. 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs. Takes first pitch strike. Peralta comes in hitting at .251, 4 homers. He's driven in 26. Breaking ball, no. Took something off that. Nice. Pulled the string on him. Had him way out in front. So the count 1-2. Peralta, who will be a free agent after this season.
Well, the Indians have an option, and that option is $7 million. And odds are
he will be a free agent after this season.
Odds are they will not be picking that one up.
Pretty good pitch. Didn't get it. Where was that one?
We'll have to take a look. In the opinion of Lance Barksdale, it was low. Rain's starting to come down.
And that was forecast. The 2-2. He gone.
Well, he went down, 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 and then up and out of the zone, and Peralta got a piece of it, but it stuck in Castro's glove.
Now it's starting to come down pretty hard. So fans will scurry for the undercover. As here is Hafner, takes first pitch strike. And the count off the corner, tried to backdoor him a little bit.
When we saw Hafner in Cleveland, he was actually up to the 280s. Not hitting for as much power as he usually does, but making some contact. Since then, the average has fallen substantially.
Pull a string on him right there with that change.
If Jake uses that change, he's going to be a lot more effective. And he's used it tonight and thrown it in perfect spots. And when Rogers out, it's never a real good thing.
Good pitch right there, close. Tried to backdoor him with a slider. And just off the corner. Did not come back. Well, we had a good umpired game last night from Ron Culpa. And there's a nice pitch in on the fist. Tied him up at 94. Now the rain subsiding.
If he's got the confidence in that straight change, he can throw it here, die it away from Hafner, and end the at bat.
The ball hit hard. Alex tracking. That is 6 up, 6 down for Peavy.
Game Zone, WGNTV.com is brought to you by Columbia College of Missouri. On-campus and online classes fit your schedule and your budget.
Andrew Jones will lead it off here in our half of the second. Big rip, fouls it back. Andrew comes in. 222, 10 homers, 21 knocked in.
Indians have announced that they will lose Grady Sizemore for the rest of the season after knee surgery. And that for them is a big loss.
Well, for the league, too, because he's such a terrific player. I hate to see anybody go down with injuries, but especially those really good players that the fans love to watch play. Out in front, pull the string on him.
Well, they've also lost Asdrubal Cabrera, and said after surgery to fix a broken bone in his forearm, he'd be lost from 10 to 12 weeks. So two of their best players out for a long time.
Yeah, that's out number one. Two of the three best players they have. So the first strikeout for Talbot, and that'll bring up Carlos Quentin.
That's a lot of runs batted in, 29 for a guy hitting just 206.
Couldn't pull the trigger on that. And count nothing in one.
Between innings, Roger Bossert had a talk with Tom Hallion and Ron Kulpa, telling him about just exactly what this rain was going to do and where it was headed. We do know that it's headed right over us at this point.
And it's coming straight down. So once again, the fans will have to scurry. Breaking ball, two hopper, 2 out.
What makes Talbot as tough as he is not that he has overwhelming fastball or that great curveball or a great change. He's got to just mix everything up. He keeps all of his pitches around the zone, throws a lot of strikes, gets ahead early, and that sets up the at-bat. And that's one of the reasons why he pitched well against our team. We're not the most patient bunch.
Here's Ramon Castro. Castro hitting at 158, a homer. He's driven in 3. Well, he is a pitcher. Talbot is a pitcher. He's still young, just 26.
The bona fide shot at Rookie of the Year.
That breaking ball grabs a strike and a count 0-2. Starting to come in.
You're starting to get the papers a little wet over there.
Yeah. A little bit low.
The promos are a little soggy.
I'm going to get rid of one right here on a foul ball. Yes, they'll do it anyway. And fans, this is your chance to win a Jake Peavy jersey and tell the White Sox what you think. Simply log on to your computer and take a quick survey. Your answers are confidential, so visit whitesox.com/survey. You must complete the survey before tonight's game ends. That one goes in the hopper.
Should go in the dryer.
And here's the 2-2. It's full.
Trying to keep it alive for Gordon Beckham, who's waiting in the on-deck circle. As those young men have a pretty good idea, and they knew what was going to happen to them.
Fouls that back. Yeah, sure. Gordon Jr. and Sully, Gwen and Grace are all watching in this evening. the Beckhams and Grandma. Ball 4 base hit. And that's popped up. So this is going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Talbot. Peralta will make the catch, and that's 5 in a row retired by the Indian right-hander. And right now you can start your day free on Subway. Get a free English muffin melt on Tuesday, June 8th from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. at participating Subway restaurants in Chicago and Northwest Indiana. Subway, eat fresh.
I think that's in honor of your day here.
It's right around the corner. I'm talking about the Subway.
Oh, I have house. Right across the street.
First pitch strike to Valbuena. Luis hitting at 170, but not against us. He was 3 for 5 last night. What new? Fouls that back, and very quickly the count 0-2.
Tonight Jake is more aggressive than he's been in any start in a long time, because he's 0-1, 0-2 to just about every hitter, and he's gotten some fairly weak pop-ups out of it.
That breaking ball low. Valbuena just 24 years old, but against us he just wears it out. Close, didn't get it. Good try. 2-2.
Free agent draft coming up on Monday evening. We have the 13th pick in the first round.
Full count. Nice pitch. Short hop, over. 1 out.
Your preference, Hawk, let's say you get two guys equal ability. Would you go after a hitter or a pitcher, let's say first, high school?
I'm very much against drafting high school pitchers, especially number 1. They got a big track record. Big time track record.
Now, how about a college pitcher, college hitter?
Pitcher. I go after the pitcher. You can't get enough pitching. You can always trade. You can't always trade marginal position players. First of all, you're not going to trade your good pitchers or your good position players anyway. But you can't trade the marginal ones. But you can always find somebody who'll take a marginal pitcher. If you make a mistake, in my opinion, in those drafts, you got an arrow on the side of pitching. They wanted that pitch, didn't get it.
Ramon was ready to throw the ball down to Konerko and throw it around, but Lance Barksdale had other ideas. He wants it inside. That slider didn't come back. Jake cut it and tried to slice off the inside corner.
Nice pitch right there. For Marson. That is 2 down. All right, and today's U.S. Cellular Text Bowl question: believing something better. Should the Sox emphasize pitchers or position players with their selections in Monday's amateur draft? A, pitchers, B, position players. Just text A or B to 97999 and watch for the results later in the game.
No sandwich picks this year for the Sox, and that's the sandwich pick is between the first and second round. So we'll take the 13th pick in the first round. Then I believe have to wait till about the 63rd pick as our first pick in the second round.
Donald can't get that one. Jason Donald hit his first and only major league home run off Jake at Progressive Field. The 0-2. Fastball, he's just underneath that. Yeah, that's, you know, you got, of the 3 drafts, the biggest crapshoot is baseball.
Well, there's no doubt.
Biggest crapshoot is baseball.
Takes the longest time to get there.
You've got, I think the one that probably can get you the best results in a hurry, obviously, is basketball. Then football. Yes, he did. He gone. That is 9 up, 9 down for Jake Peavy. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for us. That 1 hit was a first inning single by Alexei Ramirez. That was JJ and Tim Shera's pick to click tonight.
Well, I thought Castro had a good at bat though, Hawk.
He did.
I mean, he battled.
He did.
Before he popped up.
Battled hard.
Yeah.
So for that, he gets the hearty handshake.
And a hi-ho silver.
That's out of play right side.
I remember having a talk with a very learned baseball aficionado about the draft, a guy who'd been involved in it, and he said, for every Dwight Gooden you get, for every high school pitcher like that, he said, you're going to have 1,000 of them that just burn out and never get to the major leagues.
More. more. Yeah, those high school #1s, they've got a big track record. That pitch fouled away, so the count 2-2. You know, the draft, as I said, it's the toughest job in baseball is scouting. I'm talking about in the general picture. The toughest job in the big leagues is general manager, but it's scouting, and it's the backbone. It's the heart and soul of baseball. It always has been and always will be. You need great. You can't do anything unless you got some great amateur scouting. And that's hit to Branyan softly. He picks it up, and it is out #1.
That's one of the reasons why I believe that you need some good veterans that have seen everything before, because their projection skills, their ability to look at a 17-year-old and tell you approximately what he's going to be like as a 21-year-old is essential, because down in the draft, you're going to take a chance on a lot of high school kids.
Well, scouting has really changed from yesterday, so to speak, into today's game. The culture of scouting has changed. And that being because of the fact, in my time zone, there was no draft. Scouts could come to your home. They interviewed you and your parents, and in my case, my mom. And they would just line up outside and come in, and you talk to one for half an hour, and he leaves, and another one comes in, talk to him for a half hour, and he leaves, and blah, 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 blah. Well, that's no longer the case. So back in those days, they had a chance to get somewhat of a psychological profile that they could. They could see how you interacted with your mom or your parents, whatever it may be. Today, the agents take a lot of that out. You have to deal with them. And at that point, they don't get up close and personal to the young man. Plus the fact today they have the aluminum bats, and they didn't have those in that time zone.
Well, that's why
wooden bats.
That's why a lot of guys will go away from the aluminum in the summer leagues to play in a wooden bat league, to give those scouts some sort of an idea about how they can swing a wooden bat.
And a lot of them won't, too.
Well, a lot of them won't worry about their power.
Exactly right. So a lot of them will not go there. There's a strike to Jason Nix. So scouting today is so much more difficult. And there used to be a byword, so to speak, on scouts. When you would have meetings with them, they would come in and they'd say, "Hey, Steve, I'll tell you what, buddy. You're the GM, and I'm just one of your scouts, but I will put there's ball 4. I will put my job on the line for this Jimmy Jones down there in Valdosta, Georgia. If he doesn't work out, I'll resign." I mean, that was the byword. They would put their jobs on the line. And scouts, they will drive hundreds of miles every day during the summer to see these free agent players, these amateur free agents, and just to see them get a couple of at-bats, a pitch, an inning or two, and they'll go to Valdosta, and then they'll drive up to Macon, and then they'll drive over to someplace else. So it's a very, very difficult job. When a guy, and if you're the general manager, and a scout tells you, "Hey, we got to take this Jimmy Jones down there. I'll put my job on the line for it." You got to take it.
Well, that's why you also eventually have to scout your own scouts. In other words, take a look at their track record
better
in the players that they get through your system to the major leagues.
You better believe, because the proof's in the pudding. 0-1 to 1 Pierre. I like the guy we've got heading up our department, Doug Allman.
Well, he got us a pretty good pick last year. Granted, we were picking 8th. Gordon Beckham's going to turn out to be an excellent player. 13th this year, with the draft a little thinner. It's not quite as cut and dried as to who's going to be there.
Well, if you look at the majority of pitchers in the big leagues, the majority of pitchers are guys who went from the 8th to the 15th round. That's the majority of guys in the big leagues. Because those guys, the only way you can get, you don't know what's inside a person. Those guys had to compete, because they were not the local yokels. They weren't the studs in their towns or the colleges or high schools. So they had to compete. Now, your #1s, most of them didn't have to compete that much because their stuff was just overpowering. Some organizations like that, other organizations like the ones like the Red Sox, they want to, over the years, they developed a philosophy as there is a ball hit in the left field. Austin Kearns is there, and that's out #2. They developed a philosophy because of Fenway Park. being such as it is. They wanted competitors. They wanted street fighters. They didn't want any country gentlemen out there. White Sox, they have really changed around since the time I joined this organization back in 1982 until it is today. It's almost 180 degrees different.
Well, the gold standard as we sit here today is probably still Minnesota as far as their scouting and developing for the players they brought to the major leagues, because 5 of their stars are their own players. You don't find a whole lot of that.
Well, Steve, it's been that way for the last 50 years.
They've been very good.
Yes. There goes Beckham. Alexei, a 2 hopper down to Peralta. And that'll retire the side. We get the walk to Nix. Can't do anything with it. We're into the 4th, still scoreless. Three-game set, no score here in the top of the 4th inning, and Stone Pony got 2 guys who are pitching well.
Jake's throwing a perfect game, and by now, the second time through the order, the Indians know that he's throwing a lot of pitches in the zone on the first pitch.
So here is Trevor Crowe, and you can cancel a post-game show.
And that's what one time through the order will do. If you're around the plate, guys go up there knowing that instead of taking strike 1, they might as well go after it. Crowe jumped on it. He's got very good speed. And this is a changeup that just kind of settles right over the middle of the plate and winds up in right field.
And a blueprint. So back-to-back singles by Crowe and Chu.
And 2 pitches. This one again out over the plate. And Chu, a very good hitter, drives this into right field. Strange to see his batting average in the 270s.
It's not in the 270s against us. As here's Austin Kearns. He popped up to Becker. Slider, good one. Chu. That's not much higher than that. It's 288 lifetime against us. Seems like it's a lot higher than that. 288. 7 homers, 27 RBIs, and 146 at bats.
Pretty good situation to throw a ground ball if you can. Boston Kearns is grounded into 4 double plays. It's not a whole lot in 155 at bats, however.
2 on, nobody out. 1-1 the count. Big pitch. Always a big pitch. Grabs a strike on the inside corner. Kearns does not like it.
We'll take another look. Ramon wants it in there. He catches it nicely and kind of eases it back over the inside corner.
And it's good to see an umpire that'll call an inside strike. Not many of them will. So that is by Nix. And here comes, as the ball is bobbled, they go to third base. And they got him. But Crow scores, and it's 1-0.
Kearns drives in number 25. This one barely getting through. You see Nix well off the line, still can't get to it. Now when Juan bobbles it, Chu thinks he can make it. He can't.
So Juan will pick up his first error of the season.
And on the play, Kearns to second.
So here's Banyan. He went out to center field. So close to being a double play. But yet, the beauty of baseball. That ball gets away, so now it's academic on that. And we understand they're not giving an error on that play, which they got to, or else Kearns would not be standing on third base.
I would think that that one looked like it might be a pass ball. We'll have to see what the official scorer says. And they're giving him a wild pitch.
So now the infield in.
He doesn't get an error because he threw Chu out at third. However, if he doesn't bobble the ball, Kearns is not going to second base. So you got to account for that base. And
three and one.
So you're going to always give your big home run hitter that 3-0 green light,
especially with the infield in and a man on third. And it goes full. Yeah, if that wasn't an error, then Kearns would just be at second base. Big gap out there in left center. Now Beckham halfway.
And a big out right here. You can somehow
keep.
Oh,
back of him.
Well, now you don't have to worry about it. You don't see many veteran pitchers walk with a man at third base. Now we'll watch Jake on the mound. He is set. And you can't start and stop. Then he walks Branyan, so time for Jake to regain his composure.
He retired the first 9 and then 3 consecutive hits. So here's Peralta, who struck out on a high fastball. That is high into left center field. Alex is there. And that's 2 down. That'll bring up Hafner. He lined out to Rios in left center field. Takes the strike. Yeah, but getting back to the scouting part, Monday coming up, first 50 rounds of the draft will be indeed on Monday. Those first round picks are so precious. And when you miss on one, boy, I tell you, it really hurts. I remember when Joe Borchard was drafted out of Stanford. Joe was one of the sweetest guys you ever want to meet, and a ton of talent. Just had a lot of problems.
Also got a ton of money.
Oh, yeah. But I asked one of the guys who scouted him for us, I said, I'd never seen Borchard play. I said, where are we getting here? He said, Hawk, you look at me right now. He points his finger. He says, Hawk, this guy is the next Mickey Mouse. I said, what? He said, he's the next Mickey Mouse.
Sure he didn't say Maury Mantle?
I said, that's pretty tall order right there. And he said, no, I'm serious. But Joe had problems here and finished up his last year, was down at Marlins in 07. He's now playing at Fresno, where he's hitting .299, 7 homers, because he does have a switch hitter with a ton of talent. In fact, he still has the longest home run ever hit in this ballpark. Could run good arm, but got a lot of problems.
Something happens. I don't believe there's anything as a can't miss player.
There's not.
Because they can all miss.
That's exactly right.
So you just got to hope the guy that you get doesn't.
Fouls that breaking ball away.
I will tell you, we're going to see first pitcher picked in the country last year, Steven Strasburg. He's coming up to start on Tuesday against Pittsburgh in Washington. And then odds are overwhelming when we're there the weekend of the 18th, 19th, and 20th. We'll see him either on the 19th or the 20th. Most likely the 19th.
Well, that's the reason they picked that game up for TV. Projecting his starts out because that pitch is fouled away.
Well, having seen him in the Arizona Fall League and watching his progress as he started in AA, went to AAA, where very few people, if any, hit him, he's got a chance to be a special pitcher.
Well, Mark Pryor, coming out.
His first year was a big year. Mark Pryor, 18-6.
Well, you were there.
Yeah.
That's high and deep into right field now, though. Quentin coming on, makes the catch. But some damage is done. Come up with a pair, and after 3.5, they lead it 2-0. Coffee game card redeemable for $2 off your next retail purchase from New England Coffee. That's New England Coffee game cards. Family Coffee Roasters since 1916 is a home run for Chicago.
The promos are starting to dry out. I like that.
Alex checks up on the breaking ball and takes ball 1.
Outfield straightaway very deep for the man on this ball club that's hit the ball the best from the start of the season through the first third of the season.
And he's got the catbird seat 2-0. 2-0 bad guys here in the bottom of the 4th. Pulls off that just enough. That's a fair ball. And a high throw. Alex, get back. He will.
That's going to go as an error on Peralta, who airmailed Branyan.
Well, and it feels wet, so
you are always getting a wet baseball.
Well, actually, he didn't hit the grass. He still airmailed it. So anyway, good break for us. That's his 5th error. And here's Paulie.
Unfortunately, the bad break for us was that it could have easily have gone in the seats and Alex at second. It didn't. Now Paulie has to keep the ball off the ground.
Now they're going to change it to a base hit. Take it. Now that is one that Alex deserves only because of the fact of the way he's hit the ball hard right at people all year long.
See, every time I tell you it evens out, you tell me it never evens out.
It never evens out. You pitchers are all alike. Ted Williams was right. Pretty good lead, Alex, with 16 stolen bases and 20 attempts.
We're putting a little heavy in the infield, so Alex better get a good jump if he's going to run on Marson.
On set, there he goes. And there's a throw, safe.
That throw was in front of the bag to the third base side of second, and with Alex sliding to the back of the bag, a long way to go for the tag with Valbuena. He gets a decent jump. Fortunately, this throw is just a little off the mark. And we'll watch it again. You see it's on the third base side. Good catchers will tell you there are no outs on the third base side of second. If you're going to miss on the first base side of second.
So 0-2 now to Paulie. Got to bow your neck right here, 14. He was trying to keep those hands in a little bit. The pitch wouldn't allow him to, so that is out number 1.
Not a productive out as Neal stays at second base.
A reminder, the Chicago Tribune Ticket to Summer giveaway. You can win tickets to see the Sox host the Cubs June 25th, 6th, or 27th right here at U.S. Cellular Field. So look for the Ticket to Summer prize code inside your Tribune Sunday, June 6th, Friday, June 11th, and Sunday, June 13th. And look for more great prizes all summer long.
Andrew need 2 more to get to 400. Right now we'll take a base hit to get to 1.
1 more to catch Al Kaline. Andres Galarraga takes ball 1. Al Kaline, 399 home runs and never hit 30 in the season.
You just mentioned 2 great guys. Al Kaline's a terrific guy, and Andres Galarraga was as good as it got. A tremendous first baseman. Called him the Big Cat.
Well, you can tie Kaline, but you can't beat him. He is, what a competitor. Wow. Young players learned a tremendous amount of how to play the game at the major league level watching Al Kaline play. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Andrew. And there's another 2-hopper. 2 down.
I can't remember being at the ballpark in Detroit without seeing Al Kaline.
It's great. Great to see him. He's the only guy I ever wrote a letter to. when they went to the World Series. We went to the World Series in '67. In fact, we beat the Tigers out in Minnesota on the last day of the season. The series against the Cardinals, which we lost in 7 games. Then they went '68, and I just had to send him a long telegram, and I did. His first World Series. And of course, they beat the Cardinals. Mickey Lolich won 3 games.
I would say that was Lolich and Gibson's shining moments head to head.
Yeah, and Mickey hit a home run. Only home run he ever hit in his career in that series. As he checks it up and takes ball 3.
Well, perhaps Talbot taking a look at 29 runs driven in as opposed to the 3 runs driven in the on-deck circle and Ramon Castro. But Castro can surprise you because he's got some fairly big power.
It's not ball 3. Here's the 2-0. And now it's ball 3.
Well, you got to give Carlos a 3-0 green light.
I hope so.
I'm not sure if Talbot's going to throw anything close. If he does, then you're going to make him pay.
Takes it right there. The count is the most precious thing that a hitter has. That's the most precious thing that a hitter has, the count. Second most precious thing is the batter's box, because you can go anywhere in that batter's box you want to go. So when you get a count, especially when you're down, you got a power guy at the plate. It's not all bad to let him take a cut at that 3-0 pitch, you know, every now and then.
I wouldn't think so. Because where you get the fastball 3-0, you get the slider 3-1.
That count and the scoreboard will tell you, well, the scoreboard will tell you everything you got to know. It tells you what the count is, so the scoreboard supersedes the count. And the payoff, and that's ball 4. And that'll bring up Ramon Castro, who popped up to Peralta. Come on, Ramon, we need you, buddy. Ramon has over 50 home runs in his career, but we need him for a big base hit, which he got. He's knocked in 3 runs, 2 of them, in a game not too long ago that were huge for us.
Well, the 1 home run was down at Tampa Bay as he hit it right down the line at the 315 mark, and he hit it just inside the pole and just over the wall.
Outfield around to the right. Nice gap out there in left center. That slider just misses.
There you look at the defense. You see Crow just a step or 2 into right center. Turns very deep, straightaway left. Ramon's been pretty much a full hitter.
And there's a base hit. Here comes Alex. He's going to score. This is a 2-1 ball game on a nice clutch. 2 out. RBI single by Ramon Castro.
RBI number 4. And this looked like a slider that Ramon went right back up the middle. Didn't try to pull it. And cuts the lead in half. It's tied at 3.
Don't stop now, boys. There's Beckham. He grounded out softly to first. Takes a fastball strike on the outside corner. Ball gets away from Marson, so Quentin in the third, Castro in the second. Now, Gordon.
That's a changeup and the first wild pitch of the year for Talbot. Marson couldn't locate it. By the time he did, both runners moved up.
This is an area that we have really struggled in all season long. 2 out. Runners in scoring position hitting. Now too much time by Talbot and Marson. Nice crowd on hand tonight. And there's a little pop up into left center field. So a soft fly ball is caught, and that'll retire the side. We did get on the board. We'll go to the fifth, trailing by 1. TV.com for complete info and rules. Try that spicy Italian. Awesome. It's awesome.
You're still getting a muffin melt for your special day.
I'm going to have a muffin melt in the morning before I leave to go to the ball.
I'm going to bring you one. Get it fresh at 7. It'll be terrific at 5.
All right, Harold. Harold Hill. As here is Valbuena. Get foul. It will, thank you.
It's a big inning for Jake because he fell down by 2. His team came back, got him 1. Now you're dealing with 7, 8, and 9 in the batting order. You don't want to move up to Crow and Chu.
That's high. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the 24-year-old infielder. Second baseman. And normally a shortstop. Drupal Cabrera's got that nailed down.
Well, one of the three guys they got from Seattle. They were different deals, but they got Cabrera, who is injured. They got Valbuena. And their biggest addition is Shin-Soo Choo, who they also got from Seattle. And he's turned into a terrific player for them.
And there's a bullet right back to the middle. So Valbuena now 4 for 7 in the series. What new?
He's not the fastest runner around and hasn't learned the intricacies of base stealing yet. Just 1 out of 3. As this is a backdoor breaking ball that he rifles right back up the middle. So with Marson up, who's a good handler of the bat, Manny Acta has a world of possibilities. He can go after a run with the bunt or use Marson to hit and run as that batting averages slip below 200.
Well, the scores: Angels beat Seattle 11-2 out at Safeco.
Irvin Santana's throwing the ball pretty well for the Angels.
And Beckham was covering, and that is a hang woofum for Lou Marson.
Well, they used the hit and run. We talked about that possibility, and Gordon came an eyelash from actually stepping on second base. Now, Tom Hellion says he didn't get the bag, and we'll look at it again.
He's on the bag.
Well, it looked like he did have the bag and a good part of it, but nobody's arguing, least of all Gordon. It's a good thing he is running, because that would have been right back up the middle. No, right there it looks like he's at the back of the bag. Maybe the corner. Who knows? All we know is he's at second.
And he's hopefully going to stay right there. Yes, here's Donald, a strikeout victim.
That was a good play by Gordon Beckham because he was on the third base side of second, had plenty of arm to get it there and beat Marson.
I tell you, the more I see Marson, the more I like him. There's a soft fly ball into right. Carlos is there. And that's out number 2.
Jake should have been behind Nix at third base. There is no reason to be in the middle of the diamond. If there's going to be a play at all, that play is going to be at third. And for a pitcher, once you throw the baseball, your responsibility is to find a spot where the play might be made and back it up.
Especially, well, it's supposed to be every time, but especially when you got a wet infield. So here's Trevor Crowe. He started off that 2-run fourth with a solid single. Came around to score. Changed his speeds, pulls the string, and the count 0-1. That's high, and a can of corn. Alex with a catch, so we're halfway home. We need 1 to tie. Pierre and Alexei Ramirez. Jason drew a walk, one of two issued by Talbot.
Peralta is off the line at third, and Jason normally a pull hit.
There's a strike, and the count 1-2.
That's the first real good curveball that Talbot has thrown, and he's usually got a good curve.
Well, even though he got it up, it had a lot of zzz on it. That's hit over into our dugout. You can throw a high curveball that's not a hanger, as long as it's biting. But very seldom is a high curveball going to bite.
Well, the late Mike Cuellar had one that flew very slow, but rotated it so quickly that it used to just come down and drop through the zone. You couldn't hit it.
Oh, don't bring up Mike's name. I love Mike. God rest his soul. What a great guy.
You didn't do well against him?
You got one hit a year off of him.
Whether you needed it or not?
Yeah. He hit my bat once a year. I called him, tried to talk to him the day before he died. He was in the hospital down in Orlando, and talked to his wife briefly. As gets him on a change.
Well, he was one of the 4 20-game winners on the same staff in 1971 for the Orioles. Palmer, Cuellar, McNally, and Dobson. Imagine 4 starters winning 20 games in the same rotation.
Well, I hit against all those guys, and yeah, I can imagine it. I tell you, it was. Here's Pierre. Twice he's gone out to left field.
You'd like to see Juan on base, especially with his speed.
There's a shot, base hit. Indeed, he is on base. 22 stolen bases in 27 attempts.
Well, he's flipped 2 balls out into left field, and just about the time you think that you can get the ball inside on him, which is exactly what Talbot thought he was going to do, Juan was able to pull it.
So here's Alexei. He had our first hit, a bullet right back through the middle. Outfield really spread out. Just a bit of a gap out there in right center. Good lead by Pierre. He does not go. And that pitch is taken low.
I think that lead was a one-way lead for Juan, in that it was probably a little bit bigger than he normally would take, anticipating that he would see Talbot's best move to first. One thing Talbot didn't want to do was throw ball 1, because it makes the pitch out a tough proposition.
Another good lead. There he goes. That ball is hammered but going foul. Mercy. That's done. Good movement, that late movement right there. Diving in on Alexei. If you hit it hard, that's probably where it's going to go. One out. 1-1 to count. 2-1 Cleveland. They're leading us here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Indians are 7-3 against our Sox this year. If you had told me that before the season started, I would have said stack it up. Here.
Looked like Talbot turned around and said to Valbuena that he would be the guy covering if he hit the ball back to him. You would think that Ramirez being a pull hitter, it would be Valbuena anyway.
Trying to take that one into right field, so the count now 1-2.
Good time to run for Pierre.
See what they want to do. Checks it up. He did not go. And the count 2-2. Alex Rios on deck. Cubs leading Houston 3-2. Down at the juice box. There he goes. Marson was not going to throw him out on that one.
No, he got a big lead and a great jump. Not to mention the fact it was a changeup. Now he's going out to talk with Talbot.
Oh, young 23-year-old catcher. I mentioned, the more you see of Marson, the more you like him.
And the question has always been for Marson, will he hit enough? And what will they do with Carlos Santana when he gets to the major leagues? And it's probably put him behind the plate.
Watch out. Just back in the nick of time.
Well, Juan was running, and he was leaning the opposite way, and fortunately that throw was up. You see him going? If that throw is lower, they probably have it.
He does not go. And this could be. Nope. Slowly developing. So 2 out. And on another note here, don't forget, you know, I don't read sports books.
Right.
Got a good book for you. Really good. Called Cracking the Code by Paul Azing on the 08 Ryder Cup team. On the concept, the philosophy, on how they got it done and how they put it together. Really interesting. Cracking the Code.
I'll remember that. It has to talk about dealing with some of the personalities he had to deal with.
That was beautiful. Beautiful book. Here's Alex. Alex is 1 for 2. Had an infield single leading off last inning, stole second, came around to score on a base hit by Ramon Castro. That was a 2-out RBI single by Ramon. And the count 2-0. Canerco on deck. Yeah, the philosophy of pods and the whole thing. And we desperately needed that victory in 08. And the count 3-0. Turn him loose.
this has been the most vulnerable that Talbot has been against us in this his third start against us.
Just a static lead. And there's ball 4. So here comes Polly. He's 0 for 2. He's due. He is now 2 for 5 lifetime off Talbot. And the 2 hits as Tim Belcher comes out.
Well, 3 walks in 4 2/3 innings is well above average for what Talbot has done this year. Now Lance Barksdale goes out there and he wants to break this up.
Probably 2 for 5 lifetime off Talbot. The 2 hits, one of them stayed in the park. All right, Paulie, we need you, buddy.
If he does get a base hit to right field, it's going to be a nice battle between the speed of Ramirez and the arm of Chu.
Well, there's a good chance it will be an accurate throw.
He's got a strong arm, too.
Better believe it. First pitch strike. Made a good pitch on him. On first pitch. Outside. Half of the plate.
Outfield, as you would expect. Pretty deep. All the way around.
Paulie tied with Miguel Cabrera for second in home runs in baseball with 16. Bautista leading with 18. And that's the one away. Those Blue Jays making some noise.
They got a very strong baseball team.
Yes, they do. And they got some strong leadership now. They've got Paul Beeston at the top. They've got Cito at the helm.
Coming into today's action, they were 8 over, just 4.5 back.
Fouls that back, so now Paulie in a 1-2 hole. Boy, that was good movement. That sinker, late movement down and in.
We have very few choices on that one. If you do get a piece of it, it's either going to go off your leg, you're going to ground to third, or hit it foul.
Two on, 2 out. 1-2 the count to Konerko. Nice block by Marson, and the count evens at 2. Second of this 3-game set. Indian took the opener last night 10-1. Finale tomorrow afternoon. Mark Burley against Jake Westbrook. The game will be over Comcast Sportsnet. You can't make it to the ballpark.
Monday off, and the Tigers come to town. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
There's a shot foul. Another good pitch right there by Talbot.
And the difference with that one is that one was up a little bit higher, and Paul could get the barrel of that on it, but still couldn't keep it fair.
No. Now if he hits it hard. And he did that.
That's 39 lifetime home runs against the Tribe.
Ball blocked by Marson. So a full count. Paulie was down 1-2 and now is back in it.
Talbot,
my more than a quarter of a century with the White Sox, I've had so many joys and players. Certainly Paulie has been won over. Watching him, he came over in '99. Watching him mature and develop into quite a player.
he's got to know now that Talbot doesn't have any feel for the straight change.
Two on, two out, payoff pitch. Takes it up, fouls it off.
With good speed on the bases and both runners moving, anything in the gap is going to score two.
And once again, here we go, the payoff. Got him. So the Sox once again threaten. Can't do anything with it. We'll go to the sixth. And to face Jake Peavy. Chu is 1 for 2. Fakes the bunt and takes the strike. Nick's playing back at third. Gap out there in right center as Rios over towards Juan Pierre in left. Paulie about halfway, a little back of halfway, and off the line at first. 1-1 the count.
Well, you wouldn't mind seeing Chu bunt because it takes away a possibility of a whole lot worse things.
The ball hit hard into left center field. Pierre right in front of Luke Apple and Minnie Minoso.
I saw the live Minnie Minoso before the game today.
Orestes.
Looked just like that picture.
What a player. What a player, Minnie Minoso. What a guy. Talking about somebody who loved the game.
He still loves the game.
Oh, sure. Here's Austin Kearns. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI single. Also a run scored. That ball hit hard. Get down. It will. That's off Harold Baines.
Juan Pierre did a nice job because if that ball gets by him, it might be 3. Kearns is swinging the bat as well as he swung it since the early days when he was the #1 draft choice for the Cincinnati Reds. This fastball is down the middle. He just crushes it, and fortunately it's a sinking line drive. Otherwise, that's out of the yard. Now Juan able to get it, but doesn't have a very strong arm, so Kearns coasts into second base. That's a big run out at second for Jake to keep right there.
Well, Kearns has some pretty good success against Peavy. He is now 7 for 17. As Branyan takes strike 1.
And there's an example, Hawk, of taking a chance on a guy who had success early in his career, was a high draft choice, did nothing last year with Washington, and you bring him to spring training and see what he's got left.
Well, he had 195 last year with 3 homers and 17 RBIs with the Nasty Nets. As the count now 0-2.
Let's keep a fastball up to Russell Branyan. You're not going to have a whole lot to worry about.
Tried. Over the plate, just a little bit high.
Branyan with the most power on this team by plenty.
He gone. Gas.
He is not going to catch up to the ball upstairs, even with a little less gas.
Well, he's got the most pull power on this team, and most power since the shoulder injury to Hafner. Hafner has more all-around power with Branyan, but not now with that shoulder. As here's Peralta, strikeout, and he's flied out to center. Branyan 31 homers last year for Seattle. A little bit of a mystery on why they chose to let him go.
Well, because they wanted to sign Milton Bradley.
As I say, a little bit of a mystery on why.
Milton's up to 217.
That's popped up. Stay in here. It won't. Souvenir. 2 rows back.
Jake's always had good luck against Peralta. Tonight, no exception. Having a couple words with Austin Kearns. And telling him how lucky he was to hit that ball.
Peralta 4 big ribbies last night. He was 4 for 5. Checks it up. And he takes ball 2. 2-1 with 2 out here in the top of the 6th. Long look in by Jake. Now, I don't think that Kearns is going to be stealing any signs. Relaying them to Peralta. But you never know.
You don't need signs, you just need location from right-hander to right-hander.
Well, if that is there, the 2-hopper. And that'll do it. So the 1-out double by Kearns goes for nothing. face Mitch Talbot here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Talbot with a 2-1 lead. Andrew has struck out and grounded to short. We're pulling off the ball a little bit against Talbot. That's high into left center field. Kearns.
Robert Linning is today's Hit the Jackpot with Powerball contestant. If any of the White Sox hit a home run in this 6th inning, Robert will win 100 chances to take home the Powerball jackpot. The jackpot tonight is worth $20 million. So good luck, Robert. Hawk and I will hold the tickets, and we'll let you know if you won. Won't we?
All right, Senator. And here's Quinton. He is grounded to first, and he is walked. Two 5-0 for them, 1-4-0 for us. Jake Peavy has pitched well. Mitch Talbot has pitched a little better. The ball hit high and deep into right center field. Stretch on the track, right in front of the patio area. Pulls it in. Does Trevor Crow, and that's out number 2. So Mr. Lenning just missed.
That's the exact spot where Carlos Quinton hit a 2-run homer in the 7th inning against Texas.
So here's Castro. Ramon has the only RBI. He had a 2-out RBI single in the 4th inning, knocking in Alex Rios. Ball hit hard, fair. Down the line. Ramon's just going to make a turn and pull it up with a single. And a good thing, Kearns got to it quickly and just fired it back into Valbuena.
That one didn't sink low and in like the sinker he threw to Paul Konerko. And Ramon takes it right down the line past the diving Peralta. But with very little speed, there's no reason to test the arm of Kearns, who threw it right on the bag at second.
So here's Beckham. Grounded softly to first in the 3rd and hit a little soft fly ball to end the 4th. Takes ball 1. And that's off the plate. Gordon, who had 14 home runs and 63 RBIs last season. So far this year, 1 home run and 12. There's a base hit. Oh, boy.
Gordon takes it through the left side. He has his first hit of the night. Now it's going to take a very long single to score Castro from second base. A very short double.
Yeah. No, long double. As here's Jason. He has walked and struck out. Stay on him, Jason. Don't pull off. Think up the middle a little bit. Stay in the middle of the field. On the first pitch, on 2-0-3-1, as a rule, if it's a fastball and he swings, it's going to be foul.
That's what we've seen over the last couple of years.
Takes it up on a slider. Now he's in the big hole. 0-2. Big hack, and that'll retire the side, so we get a couple of 2-out singles. We strand a pair. We have left 8, and we trail it 2-1. The Rangers, 7 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, and 4 strikeouts. And for all your home improvement needs, shop and save big money at Menards. Travis Hafner is lined out to left center. Rios making the catch, and he has gone out to right.
Now it makes even a guy that has struggled somewhat a whole lot better hitter at 2-0. Jake has had a very good night so far.
The count is everything. And now, where's that? 3-0. That's outside. There's one.
You got confidence in your changeup. This is a nice time to throw it and keep it away from Hafner.
And a full count.
89, so Jake threw it with a little something off, but put it in a perfect spot.
Ball hit hard. Alexei, plenty of time. Nice play by Alexei. 1 out.
Playing Hafner up the middle. Good first step quickness to his right. And No way that Hafner could outrun the arm of Ramirez.
And you can enter the Gordon Beckham Sweepstakes presented by all the good folks at Remington for the chance to win 4 Diamond Suite tickets to the July 5th game against the Angels. Also an opportunity to throw out the ceremonial first pitch and a pregame photo with Gordon Beckham. Now time is called, so visit WhiteSox.com now through June 20th for more details and to enter for your chance to win. Valbuena is 1 for 2. And the count evens at 1.
They get only 89 pitches, which for him is very economical into the 7th inning. Plus, no one has gotten up in the bullpen.
That ball's hit hard. That's trouble. Valbuena just wears us out.
He came into the ball game last night hitting 149. 5 hits later, he's knocking at the door at 200. Slices this ball down the line, goes as a 2-base hit. He's 2 for 3, coming on the heels of a 3 for 5 performance last night. And no chance at all for Pierre as this ball just kept on slicing away from him.
He is 5 for 8 in this series. And here's Marson, who's grounded to short and grounded to second. That grounded to second was the hang wolf. Valbuena was at first. Hit and run. He had a shot right back through the middle. Beckham was the one covering, and he caught the ball on the third base side of second. And that's in the LG Skyline Club seats to the right. Bottom of the 7th, Kansas City. Tigers leading the Royals 1-0.
With Zach Greinke is 1-7. It's somewhat amazing with his stuff.
That's into left center field, softly hit. And Juan's going to get it back in. And that's out number 2. Yeah, it is. It is the Cy Young Award winning season last year.
And he threw the ball very well for probably first 8 starts or so, and then last few he's had some problems. He wasn't getting any runs, and he's gotten hit pretty hard the last couple of starts, but still got terrific stuff.
So here's Jason Donald. He has struck out and gone out to right field. Beckham back on the grass at second. Alexei. Slider. No chance. Fastball. Shanked. Foul. So the count now 0-2.
Got him set up perfectly for a slider.
Outfield straight up. And the 0-2 pitch. Donald, 25 years old. Of course, he was the one to hit that little ground ball in Detroit. It cost Armando Galarraga, who, by the way, will be on the bump Tuesday, the first of that 3-game set against the Tigers right here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field. Floyd against Galarraga. It was Donald who hit that little ground ball. They said he beat it up.
Well, the irony of that is, a couple of plays before, I talked with Manny Acta about it. He said it was 2 innings before where there was a play at first base that there was a safe call and he was out. It went against the Indians, and the Tigers scored 2 runs. That made it 3-0 instead of 1-0.
The 1-2. And that's in the hole. Nix underneath. Pauly. And that'll do it. 7th inning stretch here at U.S. Cellular Field. We trail it 2-1. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning, as it's a 2-1 Cleveland lead. Top of the order for us, it'll be Pierre, Ramirez, and Rios. Juan is 1 for 3, had a single back in the 5th inning. Takes first pitch strike from the 26-year-old right-hander Mitch Talbot, who is 2-0 against us this season. Not to mention the Indians are 7-3. 7 of their 20 victories have come against us.
Well, top part of the order, 4th time through the lineup. It's a good time to get Talbot. He's about ready to deliver his 100th pitch, and nobody up in the bullpen.
Good eye, and the count 2-1.
It's Thornton. Thrown in the Sox pen. Indians pen, quiet.
And that's outside 3-1. Don't help him out. 1.
He's already walked 3.
Outfield short and swung well around to the left. There's a strike. Ranyon way off the line at first, so a full count to Pierre.
See where Crow is, very shallow in left center field. Burns over toward the line and shallow and left. And there's a bunt going foul, so that is out number 1. Boy, as hard a man as Juan Pierre is to strike out, and he is difficult to strike out, that one defies reason.
Well, bunting has not been a big part of his arsenal this year.
He's only fanned 14 times in 217 at bats.
Here's Alexei. He's 1 for 3. Fouls that down, and a reminder that every White Sox Friday home game is United Flyaway Friday. Each Friday home game, one lucky fan will have the chance to win 2 free round-trip tickets to anywhere in the continental United States that United Airline flies. United, proud to fly the Chicago White Sox.
Now the bullpen starts to work for the Indians for the first time tonight, as Talbot has 105 pitches.
And that's off the outside corner, 2-1. Mark Seifold, Sparky, Mike, gang from United. Do a great job. Outfield deep, spread out about equidistant, and that is a souvenir right side.
Well, once again, it's the K9 Sox Club looking out in Scottsdale. Larry very interested in the outcome of this, as is Layla and Tex. Chris Perez starts loosening up in a hurry. Former St. Louis reliever who came over in the Mark DeRosa deal.
And another foul ball.
If Cox doing the honors, making sure that ball stops dead. And he'll make some friends in the seats.
In that 1-0 Tiger lead over Kansas City, that is Verlander against Hochevar.
Nice matchup, because Luke Hochevar has thrown the ball very well, and you all know about Justin Verlander.
And the 2-2 pitch. Nice pitch by Talbot. Off speed, had him way off balance. So that's out number 2, and here's Alex. Rios is 1 for 2. Fly out to left, an infield single, stolen base, his 17th in 21 attempts, and a walk.
My dear friend, big-time insurance executive Jill Estep, looking on in Phoenix.
Yeah, tell Jill, text her and tell her we need some runs.
Right here.
Checks it up on the breaking ball, misses outside. Hits are even at 6 apiece. That ball hammered. Get down. Look at the play by Crow.
catch.
Look at the play by Crow. My goodness gracious. Mercy. Another hang whooping for Alex Rios. Has been absolutely uncanny for Alex this year. Great catch by Crow. Meanwhile, we're into the 8th.
sinking line drive. If he doesn't get this, it's going to the wall. He's able to get it. The call by Tom Hallion. See what's new from AT&T. Visit www.att.com.
Matt Thornton's first pitch.
And Thornton, who's been close to unhittable lately, is 2-2, ERA 1.52, on for the 23rd time. Takes over for Jake Peavy, who threw the ball very well. 7 innings, just a couple of runs on 6 hits. Walked 1, fanned 3. Unfortunately, his balk is the difference in this game.
And it certainly appeared that was a trap on that replay, but it's tough call. From up here where we are, it looked like he caught it. It looked like he got the thumb underneath. But on the replay, it looked like a trap. But anyway, here's Chu with a 1-0 count. He is 1 for 3. And he's 2 for 4.
He doesn't really care. Left-handed, right-handed, hard thrower, soft thrower. He just hits the ball hard.
While we have a moment, I'm going to send out a big White Sox shout out and happy birthday to my beautiful niece, Lexi Strafford, down in Granger, Indiana. 18th birthday. Happy birthday, sweetheart. They're having a big cookout for her down there. We love you. So here is Austin Kearns. He's 2 for 3, an RBI single, a double, and also popped up to second base. Two 7-0 for them, 1 6-0 for us here in the top of the 8th inning. It's been sort of surreal this year for Steve and I and the Sox, and watching Alex Rios into the tough luck that he has hit into. And you're talking about absolutely hang woofums, hitting shot after shot right at people, and guys coming up with plays. In that case right there, it appeared to be a trap, but as I said, a tough call.
Well,
he started in spring training and hadn't stopped. Hitting
.312 coming in, still around the same thing, but he could be hitting .375 without a great deal of difficulty.
He is. I've never seen anybody for this long a period now. This is game number 55. Hit the ball as hard as he's hit it, right at people. The 2-0, and there's a strike. Got a hold of him right here. And you got to watch Chu. 9 for 11. And stolen bases last year, 21 for 23.
And Matt does not have the Burley or Danks move to first.
And there's a chopper foul. So the count 2-2. Matt averaging almost 11 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Well,
that was last year.
This bullpen right now is averaging 10.5 strikeouts per 9 innings, and they're on pace. If this continues the rest of the year, and it's hard to imagine that it would, they'd have the all-time record.
Well, Matt this year is averaging almost 13 strikeouts per 9. J.J. Putz is third with 12.05. Matt's 12.93. Bobby Jinks 11.37. Sergio Santos 10.71 per 9. Scott Linebrink 9.93. Ouch.
It's not going to help his speed any. Sounds like Larry. Watch it again.
Or Fifi.
Wow. That hurts from up here.
Yeah. Now, don't tell me you ever did that.
Once. When I was long retired in a batting cage, and I think the machine was set at 60. So I could get the head of the bat out.
Take him right here, Matthew. The 2-2 pitch. He gone. Yes.
His fastball up and out of the zone. Too enticing to lay off. Too high and hard to hit.
Well, it was great to see Jake Peavy with it. Nice outing. 7 innings, 2 runs. Both those coming back in the 4th inning. 5 hits, no walks. Like that. 6 hits.
1 walk.
And he had 3 strikeouts. He walked Branyan back in the 4th.
And overall, a very strong performance.
Yes, it was. Threw the ball well. There's a runner taking off, and the throw, no chance. Chu picks up his 10th.
And he was running on first move. He had seen all of the moves that Matt Thornton had. And he just decided, as soon as he picked up his leg, he was going. Even if this is a good throw, odds are you got no chance to get him at second.
So 1-0 the count to Branyan. Good outing for the Jägmeister. We needed that. Now we just got to come back and win this ball game. And there's a bullet in the right field. Here's a throw, not on line, and it's a little tougher now. It's 3-1.
Well, unfortunately, that ball was down where Branyan can handle it. He's got one sweet spot. And we'll watch a location. This ball is below the belt, which is really the only place that Branyan could hit Matt Thornton. Unfortunately, he got it there. And that's a big insurance run. RBI number 15 for Branyan. And the stolen base comes back to haunt Matt Thornton.
So here's Peralta. He's 0 for 3.
I think Branyan, who had never had a hit off Matt Thornton, is talking with Paul Konerko and telling him he can't believe he got one down.
Branyan now 1 for 5 lifetime off Thornton. And the first 4 at-bats had 3 strikeouts.
All you got to do is keep it letter high, especially with Thornton's 97.
The 2-0. Oh, just getting ready to start Peralta. 2-0, 3-1. I don't care who's throwing. He can turn you around.
No, he does air it out.
Guys who have really hurt Thornton on his Cleveland club, with the exception of Grud's Atlantic, most of them have been left-handed. So the stolen base and the 2-out single by Russell Branyan. It is 3-1 Indians.
Chris Perez on. It's 1-2 count against Paul Konerko. Perez, hard throwing right-hander. 0-2, but an ERA of 3.38 on for the 22nd time. He is in relief of Mitch Talbot. He's a pitcher of record, 7 innings, a run on 6 hits.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Paulie from the 24-year-old, soon to be 25, July 1st. Chris Perez. He's a big man, 6'4", 230 pounds.
He was the closer when Kerry Wood was injured. Now Kerry is back. And Perez is a setup man.
And there's a chopper. That's a foul ball. Thank you very much. And while we have a moment, Miller, $1 million pitch presented by Miller Lite. That's Friday, June 25th, 3:05 p.m. against the Cubs. Miller Lite will give one lucky fan the chance to pitch for $1 million. So for tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com. Three 8-0 for them, 1-6-0 for us. There's a shot. That boy Paulie. Good start here in the bottom of the 8th.
That fastball right down the middle. Hard to get a fastball by Paul Konerko. And he drills it into left field. So that brings the tying run of the plate in Andrew Jones.
Andrews due. He's 0 for 3. Struck out, grounded to short, and gone out to left. Short lead by Konerko, and that pitch right on the outside edge of the outside corner. Outfielder deep, spread out. Close, and the count evens at 1. Breaking ball, a good one. That's a knee buckler right there.
Good late breaking slider. Right-hander's not going to do much with that.
2-2.
Problem has always been for Perez when he's had problems is unable to repeat that motion again, because he tried another slider and that one was well wide of the plate.
That's a big slider. That's a slurve. That ball hit hard, sucked up, and this is 2. We get the leadoff man aboard. Quickly 2 gone.
Tonight's Walgreens VIP is Eric DeBello. After the game, listen to 670 to score for your chance to be the Walgreens VIP for a day, including a Walgreens Affordable Essentials prize pack and a pair of tickets to a White Sox home game. Brought to you by Walgreens, the pharmacy America trusts.
So here's Carlos Quentin. That's the 72nd double play turn by the Indians.
O'Donnell caught that ball very well because that was a one-hop rocket.
Big rip on the fastball. Carlos has grounded to first. He has walked, and he has gone out deep to right center. Well, it just appears we can't beat Cleveland. They're trying for their 8th win against us this year. 11 tries, an 8th win in what would be their 21 game, 21 wins.
Well, Mitch Talbot, if this score holds up, will have 3 of them.
That's amazing.
And this is a guy that never pitched in the major leagues before this year. So Carlos able to get out of the way of this slider, fortunately.
Well, we've had some shots at him and could not come up with any Any base hits. We stranded 8. We stranded 1 in the first, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, and 2 in the sixth.
I thought of all the performances, and we mentioned it during the game, that this was the most vulnerable that he's looked against us. And he got himself in trouble, and then he pitched himself out of it.
Count evens at 2. Most of the trouble he got himself into came with 2 outs. So that's a helper. And the 2-2 pitch. It's full. Ramon Castro on deck. Two out and the payoff pitch. So the leadoff single, the double play, the pop up. Valbuena makes the catch, and we're into the 9th.
So it was Peavy for 7. Matt Thornton gave up a run on 2 hits in his 1 inning of work. And now Bobby Jenks comes into the game. Bobby 1-1, ERA 5.68, up for the 21st time. Been successful. 8 of 9 save opportunities, and this is a situation where he just has to hold the Tribe right there at a 2-run lead.
Hafner, Valbuena, and Marsley, the scheduled hitters. Hafner has lined out hard to Rios in left center field. He's going out to Quinton in right, and he's grounded to short. Takes first pitch strike. Hafner has faced Bobby 5 times, and he's drawn the collar with 3 strikeouts. Outside, and the count evens of 1. Two balls and a strike. If you're just tuning in, Jake Peavy through 3 was perfect. 3 up, 3 down first, 3 up, 3 down second, 3 up, 3 down third. Then in the fourth, leadoff single by Crow, single by Chu, RBI single by Kearns. They wound up putting 2 on the board. Sox picked up one in the bottom of the fourth. Alex led it off with an infield single, then with 2 out, an RBI single by Ramon Castro. So that's been it for us. And then the Tribe added one last inning. 3-1 bad guys. A full count. And the payoff pitch fouled away. All right, we have another weather update for you with Jim Ramsey back at our studios. There's a bunt by Valbuena after Travis Hafner had just doubled, one hop to center field fence as soon as we went to the break. So from a baseball standpoint, we apologize. From a personal safety standpoint, we don't.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that they have not pinch run for Travis Hafner. That's a big run out at third base. And you've got Marson with Donald in the on-deck circle, the infield in at all 4 positions, and Marson a good handler of the bat, but Hafner doesn't have particularly good speed.
Infield in. Marson is grounded to short, second, and going out to left. Hafner just blistered that double. Line shot over the head of Alex. And there's the strike. And here is the double by Hafner. 3-2. Down out over the plate. Outside, really.
He crushes that ball, and Alex got a decent jump, but that ball looked like it was taking off as it went over his head.
It did. And the count 1-2. This is when you need the punch out right here. Ground ball to Hopper. Hafner will hold, and that's a big out number 2. And a reminder, June 9th, 7:10 p.m., Sox versus the Tigers. You can celebrate the 10th anniversary of Sue the T-Rex with the White Sox. First 10,000 fans will receive a White Sox Sue poster presented by the Field Museum. For tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com.
Conversation by Castro talking with Bobby Jenks. Sox have held Donald in check tonight.
Jason Donald, as that's blocked nicely by Ramon. He is struck out, going out to right and grounded to Nix at third. 3-9-0 for the Indians, 1-7-0 for our White Sox. Mark Burley against Jake Westbrook tomorrow afternoon in the finale. So make your plans to be with us here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field. If you can't, that game will be over Comcast Sportsnet. Double hit, add 2. 1-1 to count. Indians have not played well against anybody except us. And a count 1-2. The only other team they have a winning record against is Baltimore, and they are 2-1.
And Baltimore has struggled enough to fire their manager and replace Dick Tremblay with Lon Samuel.
He gone. Lead off double by Hafner goes for naught. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. We need some runs.
The night, Ramon Castro takes it right back up the middle, one of his 2 hits. At the time it cut the lead to 2-1. The Indians have since added on, making it 3-1. And if the Sox are going to come back, they're going to have to do it against Kerry Wood. 0-2 with an ERA of .972, on for the 11th time. He has 3 saves. Given up 9 earned runs, 12 hits in 8 1/3 innings. Spanned 8, he's walked 7. has a hard time getting his fastball over, has the most confidence in his slider when he has to throw a strike.
So while we have a moment, a reminder, you can visit the official online shop of the White Sox. Browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, nostalgic memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. So get your gear from the official source. Shop at whitesox.com and accept no substitute test. Here we go. AJ will hit for Ramon Castro, who is 2 for 3 with our lone RBI tonight. As you just saw in our fourth drive of the game.
Kerry Wood was the Cubs' #1 draft choice in June 1995, the 4th pick in the draft.
So here's AJ. He has faced Wood 7 times in his career. He has 2 hits. Beckham on deck. Oh, and 1 to count. Oh, and 2 the count. AJ hitting at .225, couple of homers, 14 RBI. And now in the big hole against hard throwing Kerry Wood. And that's flipped out into left field. That's a can of corn for Austin Kearns, and a big out the first time.
Wood's getting up there at 97 tonight. Had some upper back problems in spring training. That kept him on the shelf for a while.
Beckham takes downstairs. Gordon has faced him twice. He's 0 for 2 with 1 strikeout.
Kerry fell off the mound to the first base side. That one well wide of the plate.
So the count 2-0.
Put a man on and get to face a tying run,
which will be Mark Kotsay. Three-1 Indians here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And the count 2-2. Reminder, Mark Burley against Jake Westbrook tomorrow afternoon in the finale of this series. And that game will be over Comcast Sportsnet. Off day on Monday, and then the Tigers Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. A little soft comebacker, 2 down. So here's Kotsay. Mark has faced Kerry Wood 17 times. He has 7 hits. It'll pencil out at .412. Well, we've got another weather update on the last out of the game right here. So let's go back to Jim Ramsey. And once again, that is more important if there is a tornado in the area than the last out of a ball game. 2-2 the count. 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3-1 Cleveland, bottom of the 9th inning. And a full count with Juan Pierre on deck. Call for a base hit right here, Mark. Keep us alive. There's a chopper, and that's foul. $30,864, and they have been a very lively crowd once again. And this will do it. When this ball reaches first base, this ball game is over. So the Indians, we just can't beat them. They are now 8-3 against us. 8 of their 21 victories have come against our White Sox, and we'll be back.